Hello, this is J.N.S, and I just want to do a quick video on this topic: why Trump being removed from Colorado ballot should concern Black Americans. Obviously, I'm coming at this from a different lens. I'm not going to be necessarily caping for Trump. I'm going to be talking about the larger implications that such a precedent, just to act alone, could mean for Black Americans. So it's not so much like, oh, we all need to, rally behind Trump. That's not the point of this video. If you guys are thinking that, then that's not the point. I don't care about your political views one way or the other regarding what I have to state about the situation objectively. So I'm going to be talking very objectively about this. And so Trump being removed from Colorado ballot, and we saw that come out. And to me, this sets a bad precedent for when other candidates that are anti-establishment or anti-deep state or with a specific agenda in mind when they run. So it's not so much the actual candidate itself. To me, it's the act of what they've done to undermine other candidates that run that they don't like, that the establishment doesn't like. And so obviously Trump has ruffled the feathers of the establishment. He was once a part of the establishment. We all know that. We are going to get a little esoteric in this video. So it goes hand in hand, believe it or not, the politics, the occult, and the bloodlines and societies and how they all run. So it all goes hand in hand. For those of us that are at a higher level of awareness that understand what all that means. It's not just a matter of you going to cast a vote for a candidate and then they win. We all know very much by now that a lot of times, most of the time, generally speaking, it has always been based on bloodline as far as who gets selected. Then there is a voting process as far as the Electoral College is concerned, as far as the popular vote. Is something nice to do, but to vote means to bow. And so you're bowing to a particular agenda, whether that's the left or the right, but there are two sides of the same family, same bloodline. Most of them are related. You all know that Hillary Clinton and Trump are cousins. Like, you guys should know that. And then Dick Cheney and Obama being related, like that, it gets deep. It gets, they're all related. And so there are bloodlines that have a feud rather, in terms of why they are turning against Trump. Well, they've always been against him. He decided to run. He was a protest candidate in their eyes. Like, we talking about the higher levels, those that actually do the selection process. So yes, he was given clearance to actually run in 2016. With the help of the Electoral College, and again, we're talking esoterically, we are going to get very occult in this video. With the help of the Electoral College, they turned on the families that that originally just had him as a placeholder. They wanted Hillary by all intents and purposes. They wanted her to win, and so it was kind of in their eyes like a glitch. And this was all planned. They had some very brilliant minds on the team to carry this out. Obviously, Trump is a powerful warlock himself. And so they did the damn thing. They turned the whole thing on its head in terms of the selection process, and he actually won. And obviously the campaign itself, the appeal to middle America, the appeal of this make America great again, and their appeal to the racial undertones, the racial underbelly of white America. That also helped them as far as the propaganda aspect of it, the media aspect of it. I personally think that's what shot them in the foot in 2020, as far as that election process not going through the way they wanted, but also they pulled the trigger on, we'll get there. But anyways, that wasn't really supposed to happen in 2016. In fact, many people, I personally knew intuitively that it was going to go to Trump, because again, I was told that spiritually that's what was going to happen, that Trump was going to get in there. And so I kind of knew And at that time, I was still at the surface level of things. So, I saw things from the surface level still. And so to me, it was like, oh my gosh, Trump is in here. He's racist. Da, 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 da. He's not an ideologue, but whatever. But he does appeal to the racial element of middle America in terms of, this Make America Great Again thing. And so that was a part of that appeal. This act of preserving this America, the return to American manufacturing, obviously going after the deep state, draining the swamp. And that's why personally there was a lot of people that liked them solely off of that. Some people just, it had nothing to do with the racial stuff. People were really, really upset at what was going on with the deep state. Now, if you guys took a look at the WikiLeaks, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, it's people that was really disturbed by what was going on, about what we found out at the higher levels, especially a lot of the people that, a lot of the regular citizens, like in the military or something. They were, they were really like, what in the world? Like, this idea of drain the swamp was appealing, to a lot of Americans, regardless of race, regardless of gender. And so that was also an aspect of it. Fast forward 2020, the fueled with the bloodlines. Everything was supposed to go in Trump's favor. We saw the original electoral map. We saw how Biden was getting washed. And then we saw the pause at around, I want to say 2:50 a.m. across all media stations. There was a pause and they just stopped the voting, stopped the vote. And we didn't find out who was president until like 5 or 7 days later. And we all know what that was about. We all know what it was about. That was a hijacking. Now that right there was real desperate on the part of the family, of the blood of the, how do I explain this, of because it's not the watchers at this level. This is the selectors. But it was a desperation, and that move that they pulled was pure desperation, because basically, believe it or not, a lot of this in terms of even how you would the selection process itself, before it gets there, there's a lot of ritual that takes place in terms of who's gonna muster enough energy to even win the presidential candidate. So there's a series of rituals. And to be honest, Trump be passing his shit with flying colors. He do. He got a team of priestesses that do a lot of work for him. He's a badass warlock himself. He's decided to turn the other cheek in terms of dealing with a lot of that iniquity of that system. He decided to expose it. He decided to, you know what? I'm not going to play ball with that establishment. I want to be America first. I want to do things right by the book. And so when he turned coat on them, even though he's a part of that bloodline, they still wanted to send him a message. Now, they're not going to kill him, because he is a part of his blood, a part of the bloodline, and he does have the protection on high levels. He's very protected, but they still feel like he's a thorn in their motherfucking side. It's like that cousin that it's your cousin, it's your family, but you can't stand their motherfucking ass. And so when they start acting up, you do little things. You call the cops on them. You do little things. You want them out. You do little things to antagonize them or to get them, out of the paint, because for whatever reason. And so that's kind of what this is like, when it comes to the actual selection process. And so when we see this removal of the Colorado ballot, obviously that is a particular society of the bloodline that does not want him even able to run, because once it gets to the electoral college, they are the ones that's going to make the decision in terms of, and then you got your popular vote. But if they don't want to have to pull what they did last time, what they did with those maps, and what they did with the stopping of the vote, we all saw what happened. We all saw what happened in 2020, and we all knew it looked weird, and we didn't speak. I spoke up, but a lot of people who were so against Trump, they didn't want to say anything because they wanted their candidate to be in office, not realizing that shit was going to backfire on them. And so here you are, the 2024 election, and they know what they did. That you can get away with what you did the first time, but it don't necessarily mean you're going to get away with it the second time. People are more aware now. Motherfuckers was still panicked by COVID in 2020. So the things you got away with in 2020 with people being scared and not knowing and it's still in, zombie mode is very different in 2024. That you think that shit that they pulled for those who was sleeping, but for those of us that was awake, and you guys know what I'm talking about, you think they can pull that shit that they pulled in 2020 and 2024 and not have the whole country see it for what it is? Not just the those who really saw it and those who got worked up, some of them white folks that got worked up. We talking about the Black Americans, Asian American, Latino American, those who are generationally American. They're going to see what if they try to pull what they pulled in 2020. They can't pull it. They can't pull that move. Stopping the media and all. I'm telling you, I stopped I went to 4 different media stations to see what the hell was going on. And it was like clockwork. All got the same message to stop reporting on the electoral college vote and on a popular vote. They were told to stop counting. Like we all know that. And we people get mad about, people have their agendas and their lines they want to push, but we all saw what we saw. Whatever line you fall on. And a lot of us have no vested interest in none of that political bullshit. We see it as a part of the matrix, but we also see it as a deeper, we know that it's secret society bloodlines fighting one another from 1,000-year-old families that's getting at one another, that have a big disagreement on how we're going to run America for the next 200 years. That's what this is about. Actually, not for the next 200 years, the next 1,000 years. And we see how they're taking orders from one group of interdimensional beings that wants to usher in a golden age. Then the other side is taking orders from the interdimensional beings that give them power, but that enslave the rest of humanity. And so there's a standoff. It's as simple as that. There's literally a standoff in those realms. And so they are very, very desperate. The Democrats who take their orders from the interdimensional beings that let them do whatever. And not every Democrat is on this shit. There's a lot of Democrats that don't know what the hell is going on. I'm talking about the power players. The power players of the DNC, the power players of the Democrats that get access to the highest, not higher, but highest levels of what this is all about. They answer to the interdimensional beings that give them power, lots of money to do whatever the fuck they want to do. But in turn, they have to keep the collective consciousness of the American population at a certain level. You got to keep the American system at a certain level. And that's who the Democrats, we all know the Democrats, they do some shady ass shit. They weird as fuck. They weird. We just saw on Congress with Bussy congressmen. Well, I forgot the guy's name or whatever, but I guess some senator or whatever, his assistant or some shit, fucking in the damn Congress building, in a Congress room, making a porn video with sodomy. This is how low we have gotten. Not we, but this is how low our government has gotten. And I don't know if that was a psyop. I don't know what the fuck that shit was about. But we saw that type of depravity in the halls of Congress, in the walls of Congress. And so, the Democrats, they do some ridiculous ass shit. They pass ridiculous things that undermine Black Americans at every chance. We've been getting undermined by these motherfuckers since Lyndon B. Johnson. And I can prove that. And just like he said, I'll give these niggas welfare and I'll have them voting for the Democratic Party for the next 50 years. And we got him on video. I got recordings of Lyndon B. Johnson calling us the N-word and stuff. But he said it. He said, I'm going to pass this policy that's going to undermine and break up their family. These niggas not going to know because they so stupid. And we going to have them voting Democrat for the next, what he say? Maybe 60 years or 100 years, some shit like that. Or maybe he even said it was either 60 years or 100 years or something like that. But that's what he said, Lyndon B. Johnson. And we've been getting undermined since from them. And they are just as bad as the Republicans. I'm registered independent. So I'm not beholden to all of this. I see it for the occult wars that it is. I see it I see the chessboard for what it is. And it is a murder reality game as well. Just like in the entertainment industry. Politics is worse. And so them Democrats, man, they do a lot of fuckery. But they've been given clearance from a certain interdimensional being that's more powerful than them, in exchange for them being able to do whatever the hell they want to do with these children, the things that they we saw what they was doing. Whew, I can't even get into that, but we all know, and we see the foreign policy regarding immigration. There's a lot of things that they do that undermine American people, Black Americans in particular. There's a lot of things that they do that have been undermining us, from their immigration policy, foreign policy, their policies regarding the many things, many things that have to do with us. And so we don't really get no benefit. And I think you niggas know that now. I think y'all saw, I think these last 4 years should be indicative of that. I think y'all really see, like, damn, what we was trying to wake y'all up to. Now, people was trying to toe the line because it's like, okay, we don't want y'all to say go vote for Republicans either. But at the same time, it's like, we got to have a plan of action. My plan was to always, from us, I would preferably like to see Black American candidates that got a standing chance to actually run themselves for our agenda and whatnot, and for the American, for America at large. That would be obviously my one of the solutions that we could do, one of the things that we can do. And that leads me to why this sets a horrible precedent as far as them removing Trump off of that ballot. It shows their desperation. They know they can't do the same play, but it sets a bad precedent in terms of what happens when we want to run en masse for office and get into politics, and we want to do a whole nother regime in terms of the same thing Trump was doing, anti-establishment, draining the swamp. But what if we had a different agenda, an agenda for Black Americans, American people, American manufacturing, moratorium on immigration, Black American redress, those type of things, hate crime. But what if we en masse decide, okay, we're going to run some of our candidates from the local positions to the more prominent positions, as well as White House candidates. And we're going to push that line hard. You have no idea how far our energy is. Once we start pushing something real hard, it always take off. Just like that reparation shit in 2018. Certain people energy was so powerful in it, and that it just kept pushing it, thinking about it hard enough. And then it popped in around 2021, 2022. And so the same thing can happen like that if we decided we want that White House. I'm telling you, prophecy. Like, if we started really putting our mind on it, we want this golden age. We want something. We want to get up in there to actually run it. We want to run it. We want to run the system. You start putting your head on that and just thinking about it. You got a bunch of Black Americans with powerful energies thinking about it. That shit gonna manifest. But here's the thing. With them trying to, go after Trump and remove him off of that ballot, that means that can happen to any one of us. If they do that to their own family member, we're talking about the selectors. If they can do that to their own, just like they did what they did in 2020, and they not gonna kill him, but they tired of him, because again, this is so esoteric, it's not even funny. He's working with the interdimensional beings that want to bring in that golden age. He's working with the other side. He's not working with the side that the Democrats are working with, as far as how they're getting their power to run the system. And they're finding out, the other side, how powerful that the side that Trump is working with, how powerful that side is. He's finding out, like, oh, these motherfuckers got watchers on their side. Not just watchers. Okay, we talk about, the lower levels, like the Democrats is working with jinns and demons. Their jinns are abandoning them. We're talking about the occultists, okay? Their jinns are abandoning them because, woof. I mean, the other side, and we're not talking about Republicans. Don't think of it like okay, the Republican itself. Trump is a renegade. Okay, so the side that Trump is working with, where he's getting his power and his backing from, is the Democrats are finding out. The occultists of the Democrats, the selectors on their side, are realizing, like, yo, them motherfuckers, they really might, usurp this shit again in 2024. And so they're like, no, we're gonna take him off. We'll start. We got something for that ass. We're gonna take your name off the ballot in Colorado. You won't even be able to run. Now California's thinking about if they can do the same thing. And so, hopefully the thing with California don't go through, but they're trying to set a precedent. if you go anti-establishment, if you start questioning too much, if you go rogue and go renegade like Trump did, we'll have some mechanisms to get your ass back in line, or to make sure you can't run, so you don't have the chance to get in there and undermine it. Because the energy that he's working with, the calls have already been made. The watchers have already put their foot down. Trump is going to get that 2024 election, because in a span of 4 to 8 years, they're preparing for a Black American, 15 years at the most. They want a Black American president in there from a Black American lineage. That's not a sellout. That's not a coon either. That's not a puppet. They want another renegade in there. And so to prepare for that, the 4 years, okay, we go to, Trump has a certain mandate and some certain requirements that he's required to do once to get in there, but they wanted to go to Trump. I'm just keeping it real. The watchers want it to go to Trump, and he has to, follow through with what he said. And so the selectors on the other side are like, look, we gonna fight you. We holding on to the power that we have with Kung Fu Death Grip. We not giving it up that easily. We ain't just giving it up just because we don't care who said it. We don't care if it was the watchers that said it, if it was Lucifer that said it, if it was God that said it. They don't care. They're like, look, they just throwing little thing. They throwing the little thing at the wall. They throwing any little thing at the wall to see like what would stick. And so, the thing is, my biggest concern is what happens when we want to run. What happens when the regular Black American from all walks of life that got, maybe the backing of the public, backing of maybe even, some of our Black business class, and they want to run, whether that be for the local office, for Senate, Congress, mayor, city council, president, whatever. These motherfuckers can just go on a legislation and say, oh, you caused insurrection. Oh, you're anti-establishment. You're anti-America. And then take your ass off the damn ballot. And we will never get our people in there. That's why I'm saying we need to say, oh, hell no, we can't allow that. Because when we want to get in there after these 4 years and 8 to 15 years, we have to really organize as Black Americans to see how we're going to get a foothold over this system. And so, I mean, I know many of you guys are not serious. You guys think it's so far-fetched, but it's not, because it's prophecy. But for those of you that get serious about it, what happens when we want to run? And a lot of us, especially a lot of us that are for the Black American redress, and for those of us that want to pass policies regarding the hate crime bill, and we want to do a moratoriums on immigration, they can just say, oh, we're anti da 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 da. And but they use something in the Constitution to say that Trump can't run, that he incited insurrection. Now, we got the video of him clearly telling them that he wants peace, that they need to go home, da da da. But if they could do that to him, they'll do that to any one of us. That nigga was a part of their establishment. He is their bloodline. He is their family. Okay, and there is rank. There is rank in this. And so Black Americans, a lot of us are a part of that bloodline too, but there's different types of rank. And so what I'm talking about, what if one of us want to run and they catch us saying something, or they feel like they used to say the Black identity extremists. They can say anything. And then they say, oh, you're not going to get on the ballot. You ain't getting the ballot in no 50 states. They could just do that shit. Then what? That's going to be the card they pull, the Constitution? No, that shit's illegal as fuck. And we need to speak out on it, whether you voting for Trump or not. It's not about that. It's way above that. It's about like what are your plans down the line when you want to run? Just like how they can just do shit with the ballots and stuff like they did in 2020. My thing is, the American people, regardless of race and gender, are so much more awakened than they was in 2020. They see a game for what it is. They know it's chicanery. They see it. They're like, man, this they could see through it. They couldn't see in 2020. And it was, people were still walking around with with blindfolds on. But the biggest thing is the Black American becoming disillusioned with the Democratic Party and with Biden administration in particular. Because again, whoever had a policy, whoever comes with something for the Black American and it's something in our interest, I'm pretty sure a lot of Black Americans will go with it regardless of party. It's more so for nine, I think they say like 95% of Black America, 95 to 96% of Black Americans vote Democrat. It went down to 92%, 93, 92%. But then you have the Trump in 2020, about 15% of the Black vote went to Trump. It was 86% like Black men's, and then 88% Black women's, or 90. It was, I think it was in the 90 range. Black women, for 90% of Black women voted for Biden. Then 86% of Black men voted for Trump. And so that's a lot of Black people that his vote in 2020 went considerably. For Trump's vote went up considerably amongst the Black people, in 2020. And so they know that. And that was 2020. So you got about 15% of the Black Americans that voted for Trump. So that was ringing alarms to the Democratic Party back then. They started freaking out about that shit back then in 2020. I remember seeing reports on it. I remember people trying to blame Black men for, which I thought it was a horse shit, because even if all Black Americans voted for Biden, even if all Black Americans voted for Trump, it wasn't going to be, it wouldn't have been enough or whatever. Whatever they was trying to blame, particularly on Black men, I remember I did the numbers. I calculated myself in my head, and I realized, like, why are they trying to blame? I just thought it was so stupid to try to just blame. But anyways, nonetheless, they were freaking out about that back then. And so here we are, 2023, about to go into 2024, and they know that they have disenfranchised the Black vote, the Democratic Party. They have done that. They know that Black Americans is off of that shit. A lot of Black Americans don't give a damn about politics. A lot of Black Americans are independent. A lot of Black Americans want a bull economy, so they thinking of other shit. They thinking of how well the economy did under Trump in terms of markets, at least. If you were, if you were a trader, or if you were, a certain type, if you were even in the business class, like a lot of Black Americans, they were secret about it. But every Black American I talked to, I remember in 2020, I wasn't a Black American I didn't talk to. They might have been secret about it, but they were secretly supporting Trump. Men and women. Men and women. I didn't meet not one. I was talking with Blacks in the military at the time, and they would be very quiet about it. They wasn't all like, "Oh, Trump, Blacks for Trump." They wasn't on that. They wouldn't make a spectacle out of it, like the two sisters and that guy that do the Black for Trump. And then was it two sisters? One of the girls, baby girls, just died. The ones that, oh man, what was them sisters' name? Them two girls. They used to get on there. The Trump women, whatever. But they weren't like them type of, they were very serious Black vote, and they were very quiet about because they didn't want to get dragged like Chrisette Michelle and shit like that. They didn't want to get dragged and be called a coon like Kanye West and all that, But it was Black Americans that secretly knew, like, man, that Biden shit ain't gonna get us nowhere. Like, we knew. And so that was in 2020, but come 2024, we even see Farrakhan. We just see a video with Farrakhan. I'm actually gonna cover that next. I'm gonna end this live and then get into that. But come 2024, you see a lot of Black Americans are very openly about it. They're like, we don't give a shit about none of this stuff y'all talking about. We going with who got the best plan for us, the best plan of action for the Black American community. And right now, Trump come with the platinum plan, whatever, or Cornel West. A lot of people looking at Cornel West too, And so a lot of Black Americans are very disillusioned. They're disillusioned with the Democratic Party. Very unsatisfied. They come with, get your booty to the pole, get your stripper to the booty to the pole, and was it puppy hush puppies? They throw a little dinner and give you catfish nuggets and collard greens and hush puppies to get your vote and all like that kind of disrespectful, unsophisticated shit that they do to play on our top, making it seem like we're not intelligent voters, like making it seem like, okay, where's your motherfucking tangible items? Where's your provisions for us to even vote for your ass as a candidate? Like, and so the Democratic Party has failed on all fronts. They have. I don't care what nobody say. I've been trying to wake that up, and I'm not a politician. I'm not into politics like that. You know, I studied it a little bit growing up, but I never, I'm not even one of them political heads. Like, I have to learn about politics from other Black Americans that's really into that, and I'll listen to their channels or their take, and to try to get a holistic view on what's going on. Then if it's really interesting to me, I'll go and look it up. Like, I found out about the Colorado with the Trump thing from another Black American. Then I went and go looked it up myself, But other than that, I don't be checking for that. I see it for I know that they run that political machine off the occult. I know it's run off a bloodline, and it's just as ritualistic as the damn music industry. I see it. I see that as an esotericist, as a spiritualist. I see that. And so I know that it's much deeper, and that it's a selection process. There's a ritual process that you have to go through when you want to run. And there are selectors, and there are people who make calls of who's going to get in there or who's going to win. It's as simple as that. And so right now you do have a family bloodline that are fighting one another. And they are taking cues from certain interdimensional beings of where they want to take this country for the next 1,000 years. Not just the country, the world. And so, it's already been declared that they want Trump to win that, to get that. However, the other side is like, no, we ain't giving it up that motherfucking easy. He done got out of it. We try to throw the arrest at him. We done try to throw the indictments at him. We try to do in everything we have tried to done. It keeps failing. And so they gotta go. They going real desperate now. Take this motherfucker off the ballot. And when another one of them come up, one of these Black Americans that want to run using that backing, their side of those watchers and of those interdimensional beings, and they want to run on that anti-establishment ticket, middle America ticket, America first ticket, that type of thing. We just taking their ass off the ballot because they want to go with that nasty agenda, Democratic agenda of the trafficking and bringing the motherfuckers off the border, open borders, a screwy ass education system, non-investment in American people, non-investment in things that are for in terms of our manufacturing, our innovation, just completely derailing our country. Bringing sexualizing children, they just want to do some stupid shit. They just want to do and I just don't fuck with them for that. I can't. If they was righteous and doing the righteous thing, I would fuck with. The Republicans ain't no better because they be buddy. They be buddy. So we're our plans for bringing this golden age to America. We're looking for Black Americans to get in that office come 8 to 15 years. And so we thinking about that down the line. They not gonna be. They can't be trying to take a Black American off the ballot because they not. They can't be controlled. Nah, hell nah. And so for Black Americans, I would say we need to say nah. We not gonna rock with that. We ain't gotta be all looking like Trump support. Unless you support Trump. If you support Trump, that's your business. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Because we should have freedom of thought as Black Americans. So I don't care about that. But looking at it from your own perspective and looking at it from your own agenda is like, okay, but what if you want to run or whatever, and they could just say, you did this, we're going to use the Constitution, you're off the ballot. Nah, hell nah. And we need to get into local politics. You guys know that we've been trying to get Black Americans to run for city councils and mayor positions and all types of that. And the moment we try to buck up, oh, you're off the ballot. That's what's going to happen. If we don't put our foot down and say, no, we're not rocking with that. We ain't going to allow you guys to do that to American candidate. Because if you could do that to him, you're going to do it to me. And they can't wait to do that to Black Americans. They can't wait to put that hammer down because for those of us that get more of an interest in running, you're going to see the backing from the spiritual realm come on you more, the more you look at it from the lens of, how do I say this? Ushering in a golden age for America. The more you are more for the people, the more you are more for the cosmocracy, the universal laws, the more you are that, the more you'll see your anointing shine. If you go in, oh, you're gonna lay down, you're gonna spread your asshole, sell your soul through your booty hole to get in there, go along to get along. You're not questioning nothing. You keeping your head down and just going whatever they tell you to do, you do it. Them days are done. Like if any Black Americans trying to go that route with the political machine, your ass is not gonna get in there. It's not going. You get in there, but you're not gonna have the backing of the people. That's why all the Black people that's running recently, as you see, just look at the prophecy. Like, let's look at it just from what you see. All the Black Americans that be running, or not just Black Americans, it could be melanated people that's running for these positions that are not doing anything that have no innovative policies, no innovative campaigns, nothing enriching for us. They be getting their ass sprayed. Their reputation is in the gutter. Nobody really respect them. Like that Lori Lightfoot? I don't even got her damn name wrong. The mayor of Chicago. You see how they got her ass up out of there? Because remember she said it's a new world order. It's the establishment. We can't buck up. She was, I mean, we got videos of her talking, this is the new world order. We bow down. And all, she was talking all like that. Didn't question nothing. Didn't do nothing for them people in Chicago. Didn't do nothing for them. She just went along to get along. Her ass is right out of there. Sheila Jackson just tried to win. But didn't she run for mayor or some shit like that recently? Didn't win. I'm telling you, this stuff is, because again, it's a spiritual component to, it's a occultic, I'll say it's a occult component to this whole thing. It really is. You guys can ignore it and just think you're going in for a regular ass vote and all this stuff, and it's just whatever surface level stuff. Nah, hell no. This stuff is way deeper than what you'll ever imagine. And so if you notice these melanated people or in Black Americans who want to go that route and want to go right into their machine, right into their ways, right into their system, and don't have nothing innovative for their own community, they don't have nothing for the American people. They just want to go in there and get a job and placate to the system. They're not going to get in it. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. And so those who do understand the times we are in, the age we are in, and they start coming with those innovative policies and things for their community, as well as ushering in that golden age for America, we got to make sure that their name could be on the motherfucking ballot. It's as simple as that. We got to make sure that their name could be on the ballot. And so that's why I say, no, I don't support what's going on with Trump in Colorado with that ballot. And I told y'all that this election is going to be a shit show. This election, you're going to see how this is based on presidential being selected, the president being selected. You're going to see, okay, this shit is deeper than, okay, we just go take our ass in there and vote, and it's a popular vote and electoral college and da-da. Y'all going to see. I'm telling you, 2024 is a lot going to be revealed. You're going to see that this is the occult. This is secret society bloodlines feuding, fighting on each side on who's going to be the interdimensional beings that run this shit for the next 1,000 years. It's just going to spill out into the open because it's getting messy. It's already too messy. Y'all already know a lot. Y'all already know WikiLeaks with Julian Assange. WikiLeaks, that was enough to let the American people know. Y'all just now getting caught up on that. Many of you guys, not everybody, but like that lets you know about the politics back then when they were talking about spirit cooking and pizza. Let me shut up. But you guys know what I'm talking about. We all saw it, how they was sending them emails to one another, them politicians. Y'all gonna really see in 2024, like, oh, this some other shit. What the hell have we been doing? That you have been participating in a ritual to bow to a specific agenda, to a specific bloodline, family, or a society. Y'all gonna see that shit. And we've been trying to wake that up since 2016, but everybody called us conspiracy theorists. We crazy. We thinking too deep. Oh my gosh, y'all, what they call us? QAnon? Was it QAnon? They was calling us QAnon folk. Oh, no. The average American, regardless of race and gender, is about to see what we've been saying for years come 2024. Y'all gonna be like, damn, y'all thought 2020 was something with that weird ass election, and we saw we ain't have a president for a week and shit, and everything about the insurrection and the ballots, and we know what we all saw, and what they was doing with them, what they did with that vote. We saw it, Y'all think that was something. Now y'all really about to be awakened. Y'all really about to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm be right here saying, told you so. And I go, I'm would be right here to guide and to offer my perspective on how we should be handling those type of things. For those that may be it may be a little shocking. They may feel bamboozled. A lot of people may feel played. A lot of people are gonna feel like, damn, like everything I thought was a lie about how the whole system works. And it's been people like us that's been like, we tried to tell you. And so our job, for those of us that's more advanced, that have some more awareness, like, we gotta catch other motherfuckers up. Because the good thing is they gonna see it. The good thing is they gonna see what we already been seeing. That's the good thing about it. Like, at least we ain't the only ones. At least they can't call us conspiracy theorists no more. Everybody gonna be getting watched. At least that watch list is going to grow considerably with as far as what people be thinking. And but then there's always ways to combat that energy as well. And so I wanted to cover some other things, but I think I think they should be separate videos, because I don't want to get off a topic too much. But oh yeah, the Democrat with the Congress Bussy boy, that shit was ridiculous, man. That shit was ridiculous. He was getting his cheeks clapped in damn Congress, bouncing up and down on dick. And we out Americans is out here really trying to figure out what's gonna be their next move. And this is the shit that's taking place in Congress. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to be ashamed to bring that in Congress. You want to get freaky, and what you do in your bedroom is your motherfucking business. You want to get your cheeks clapped. Why is you bringing that in the Congress halls? Why is you filming and putting that shit on? Putting it on the website on the internet? That's ridiculous. That's Sodom, and that's why they was calling America Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what they was calling. They making a shit show out of this. We got it. Then them Democrats, man, they just on fire. They need their ass tore out the frame, man. They really do. My thing is, I'm not into that politics stuff, but I don't like when you try to play on my top, and I don't like when you try to play my community. Because my community is emotional, and they don't. They still on this Democrat stuff. But I can see it for what it is, and I just I don't like how you try to bring your booty to the pole, really. And then they had, I think it was Sukiana and was it Saucy Montana, do some type of video for voting, that type of stupid shit like that. That is so insulting. That is the most insulting thing I could ever see. And it's like they're trolling us. You gotta be trolling. You gotta be trolling, and you gotta, or you just blatantly disrespectful. Or who in y'all think tank and y'all government operative think tanks, who is telling y'all that shit is gonna fly in the Black community? Like, why would you be so low level like that to insult someone's intelligence like that? You must really think so low of my people that you think it's okay to go and make some crazy ass video called "Bring Your Booty to the Pole" with some strippers and put that in the Black community. Then throw a little convention, Democrat convention, and have some catfish and chicken nuggets. Was it catfish nuggets and mac and cheese balls and hush puppy and shit, and pat you on the head and say vote Democrat, and then go on your way. Nah, y'all gotta do much motherfucking better. You gotta do much motherfucking better, and not just y'all talk about the reparations thing. Now, Kathy Hochul from Buffalo, New York, the mayor of the governor of New York, she talking about they want to do the study for reparations, and they got Al Sharpton on there and James Sanders. Y'all niggas need to do much more better, because a study for reparations, we are already past that point. We are already past the study. So what is y'all doing? And we already told you, like, we doing reparations based on Black American redress, based on the latent functions of slavery for the federal level. You trying to get an executive order for this shit. So it's going to be the funding that we are requesting is for those of us through descendant of slavery who can prove the latent functions of slavery based on the lineage. We ain't trying to make no spectacle of it. We're not trying to do no horse and pony show. We're not trying to do no psyop. We're gonna be very clandestine, just like how them gays and them Latinos, they was very clandestine with their agenda. Look at all the rights and the things that the gay community had, and you guys cannot try to say I'm what's it, homophobic or whatever. I'm bisexual, so that don't even try to play that. But I'm saying objectively, that community did mad shit to get their agenda passed, but they weren't all loud about it until it was too late, until everybody caught on to it, until they just started getting so entitled where it was like, really? Like, really? Like, but they were very underground for a minute. Study how they got all that shit, all them bills passed and all them things and all them rights and all them protections. They were very clandestine with how they was moving. They didn't make a spectacle out of it until, now they make a spectacle out of it. Now everything, any little thing you say or do, they act a fool. Same with Latinos. Very clandestine. The only time they was loud was when they wanted to hitch their wagon to your shit and to do the black and brown. But before that, they were very slithery with what they wanted. Because that's how you get shit done. Because they already know, like, anytime, if they was loud like that, they wouldn't get shit done. All the rest of the Americans would shut their shit down. They would shut their shit down. And so that's how Black Americans need to be with the stuff we want. You got to be very clandestine, very logical, very strategic based, very power focused, very power based focus. It can't be all loud. We need reparations. You got to give us a check. You can cut a check. And people going to laugh you out the motherfucking room. For slavery, for transatlantic slavery from Africa. Oh, get your motherfucking ass on out of here. No, you got to be very clandestine, and we already passed the study. What is we studying? The study's already been done. Take the blueprint take that 500-page study from damn California, and apply it. Switch up something. We're talking about. You got enough research. You got all the slave narratives from everything that ever happened in the South, from the WPA, where that was a federal funded project. With the New Deal, we got all those records. We got literal records from motherfuckers from the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. So what I'm saying, if you focus on them latent functions, we already got the research about that too. In New York alone, I got a whole research paper that was funded by I want to say that the New York Housing Department, one of them institutions, but just in New York alone, we can prove how redlining still affects Black Americans today. And the research has been done in Chicago. So if they talking about they want to do this stuff in New York, a study, nigga, the study's already been done. You just do a meta-analysis at that point and collate all the research together in terms of drawing those correlations between the lineage-based Latin functions of slavery and how those effects are today. So you would obviously you can use the subprime case that was happening in 2008. That's a latent function of slavery. You could obviously use redlining from the FHA Housing Authority of the bullshit they've had. Literally, we have the records of what they said just in the what was the New Deal? What was it, FDR in office? But when FHA, they literally said undesirable communities can't do this, can't do that, and they was rating the structures. They was rating the lands where Black Americans live real low and stuff. They was doing all types of stuff. We got all those records. I think I got a folder of it somewhere, one of them Google Drives. So I'm like, what the fuck is y'all needing to study? You do the latent functions for Black American redress. The starting point could be American chattel slavery, but you got to make that correlation from how it's affecting you in real time in 2023 if you want money, Black Americans. And don't let these people pull that study stuff. Just say, hey, you guys you're just what you do is you jump the gun, and you already, it's not even jump the gun. It's already, we already have all of the case studies, all of the, all you need to do is a meta-analysis at this point. That's all they would be doing. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me make sure. I think that would be a meta-analysis. Let me just Google that real quick because I want to make sure that would be the right step. Statistical combination of results from two or more separate studies. Yep. Yeah, you would just be doing a statistical combination of results from two or more studies. Separate studies. Potential advantages of meta-analysis include improvement in precision, the ability to answer questions not posed by individual studies, and the opportunity to settle controversies arising from conflicting claims. So Black Americans, that's what you need to say. You say, look, We already got the studies from the redlining. We got the studies from the subprime mortgage crisis. We got the studies from the health disparities, from the maternal rate. You want to go with the health, obviously, medical apartheid. What else? Food deserts. We got the studies of obviously the racial wealth gap, income disparities. We got these studies. So now all you're doing is a meta analysis. You're combining that. That means the statistical combination of results from two or more separate studies. Okay, and then you're gonna answer questions not posed by individual studies, which would be obviously how much is that motherfucking check. So we passed the study aspect of that. What the fuck are y'all studying? To study reparations, and half of that research has already been done in California alone. Now that was for a specific state, but I think even that was a little clunky. I think that was clunky as far as how they did that collation of that research. I mean, it was clunky because they pussyfooting around. They wasting people time. They know what they doing, and so no, we not doing no study. We're past that. You do the next stage is meta analysis, and not even you do need a meta analysis of proving the latent functions in 2023, so you can get that calculation of the check, of the funding. And again, be very clandestine. You not need to go with loudmouth. We need a check and reparations. Going on these politicians' face, cussing them out, and Democrat. No, you can't make. Nah, man, because this is off a bloodline. And so you disrespect the wrong people, or you piss off the wrong power broke. Some of these people run whole states. Some of these people, they power brokers. You think they politicians, and you wonder why shit ain't get done in 50, 40 years or whatever, because it's a bloodline. Simple as that. This is the occult. And so, you got to be very clandestine, very strategic with what you want, Black Americans. Very. And so, Kathy Hochul, and then they got Al Sharpton, and growing up, and I didn't know any better. I just used to see like Al Sharpton, and I used to just be like, okay, like Al Sharpton's for Black Americans, Al Sharpton, da da da, But a lot of us, we know that these are puppets, man, and we know that these niggas is taking bags, and they not who they thought we was, who we thought they was, And many of you always knew that. I'm 31 years old, so when I was a kid growing up seeing Al Sharpton, I really did think he was like, somebody that was really for the interests of our people. And so we see him, it's like, oh God, they about to really mess this up. They about to really screw us royally with no grease, no oil, no lube. And so no, we ain't about to have that. Like, nah. Then James Sanders' ass is talking about, he get up there talking about we fled the South. They doing this thing where the Black Americans had fled the South and to go to the North because of what they dealt with. I think he said that shit, with that reparations thing that they pulling in New York. And he's absolutely wrong about that. He's absolutely wrong. It wasn't a fleeing of one government to another government, from one country to another country. Most Black Americans are still in the South. Let's be very, very, very real. A lot of Black Americans still have their land from 100, 200 years, 300, 400 years. A lot of us are still in the South. And a lot of this was one country. So a lot of the Black Americans, they went to the North for the factory jobs, and a lot of them might have been escaping the KKK. But let's not act like we wasn't going back during the summers to the South with our family that stayed there, whether that had been a big mama, an auntie, uncle, grandpa. We was always traveling back and forth. And then a lot of the Northerners, especially like those of us that's, Buffalo, New York, a lot of the Black Americans, we're not originally from Buffalo, New York. We've come from usually Alabama, North Carolina, and Georgia. But I noticed a lot of Black Americans when I was for a minute. A lot of the Black Americans in Buffalo was moving to North Carolina for a long time. And even in Ohio, you would see the Black Americans that would go back to the South. Especially the younger generation. And so this nonsense that we fled, to trying to make it comparable to immigration, to immigrants who flee their countries, that's absolutely unacceptable. Because for one, the correlation, the comparison is faulty. It's not even a fair comparison. Black Americans sought opportunities in the South. I mean, in the South and in the North. And Black Americans saw opportunities in the North, particularly, there's a factory job, the industry, the industrialization period was really popping off back then. A lot of these steel companies, I know Buffalo at one point they was big on steel. They had a lot of steel, and then they had these car companies out there. Obviously, Detroit. A lot of Black Americans they went to Michigan for the work in them car factories. I grew up knowing a family that was working in a lot of car companies, whether that be GM, Ford, was it Hummer? What's the other one? It's a lot of them. But in Buffalo in particular, I just remember there was a lot of steel plants that attracted a lot of the Black Americans. And, we all have our thoughts and opinions on that. Many of the younger generation, I'm not going to hold you. A lot of us complain because we feel like they should have never left the South. And then the elders try to explain to us, things were so different. A lot of the Black women, I know Black women in my family that just left the South and never motherfucking returned. And some of the stories that I heard, we heard some stories now. We know what we heard. You know what we heard. They never returned. And they in their 80s. They still ain't never motherfucking returned. Not even a visit. And they just fled their land in North Carolina and Georgia, just bolted the fuck out of Alabama and stuff and just never returned. That shit is not normal. But I grew up hearing them stories. And so, like, I did have a lot of judgment. Like, oh, why did y'all leave our land? Why did you give up our land? Why did you sell it? But they try to explain to us, even some men, they just left and never returned. And they had run-ins with the KKK. They had all types of stuff going on. So, the younger generation, like my generation, we're trying to be understanding, but we feel like it wasn't worth it. Especially if you were from New York City and you know how you all cramped up in New York City like sardines and shit. Like, and I lived in New York City for 2 years. Like, I mean, New York is fun to visit, but like living there, no way. But I'm talking about New York City, that is. Because I'm from Buffalo, New York. I was born in Rochester. But we kind of bummed out about that. A lot of our land that they was selling and stuff, but it is what it is. But all in all, I would say, James Sanders, you are completely out of line to try to compare Black Americans moving to the South. Moving to the North from the South, and try to compare that to immigrants fleeing from their country to a whole nother country, to a whole other government. That's completely different. That is completely different. And so that's what I want to say. And also, for those of us that's trying to get into that space, you got to move more clandestine. You also got to realize that, you whatever roles and positions we'll be trying to get in terms of politics, you'll be running for all of America. And so you're going to have things for your community and be very unapologetic about it. I just don't think I think we need to be clandestine about it. I do. I don't think we need to hide it or to be, so sinister. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it should just be a part of the package of what we're offering to the broader sense of America. And part of that would obviously be having things specifically for Black Americans. But just running on that alone, and the way it's crafted, y'all gonna look like bumblefuck idiots going in there screaming loud about reparations from slavery, from the transatlantic slave trade. I see some of the articles they was writing about our reparationists. They was making them sound crazy as cat shit. even though they wasn't. And so to me, that's like, okay, no, I'm not, you're not about to get that ammunition to try to make us sound like we just loony. No, we about to craft this out. Black American Redress, proving the land functions of slavery from 2023, a direct corollary. And then we do the meta-analysis ourselves. We should have our think tanks already. This meta-analysis should already be done. So at that point, all we doing is literally doing the calculation for how much that redress is going to be. That's all you need to do at that point. So anytime they come, we got to study it, 2-year study, 4-year study, and such is going to fund it, and these nonprofits. No, get the fuck out of here. Miss me with that bullshit. You're going to we already did the meta analysis. That's what you operative think tank niggas need to do. You need to have that paper. We already got the numbers. We already actually did the calculation ourselves. We're past that. We want policy. We actually going to just write the legislation ourselves now about what we want in that Black American redress. We already did it. You know, and again, I could be missing some steps in the process, but you get the spirit of what I'm saying, because I'm not into politics, but you guys know the spirit of what I'm saying. For those who know more about the political process than I do, no, don't let them say study. Do the meta analysis ourselves. That's what you got scholars for. That's what you got Black American scholars for, or any scholar, whether even if they melanated scholar that want to help and do that meta analysis with us and get those numbers right, get that calculation right. But all of that, they're going to take 4 years, and it's going to be state to state, and they're going to put some Pan-Africans on there, and they're going to put anybody on the task force stuff. Ugh, good God. Good God. Well, anyways, in conclusion, Black Americans, you do need to look at the Democrats sideways as fuck for removing Trump off that ballot, because they can do that shit to you when you want to run. When you want to run as an independent or Republican or whatever, or even Democrat, but you don't placate to the establishment. You got whole new policies. You're a renegade. You're a rogue. You're working with other interdimensional beings to get up in that bitch, and it's working, and you're powerful. And then they just say, "Oh, you go scratch your name off the ballot because you're not playing ball." So nah, we should not look the other way of that. Hell no. So I'm gonna end this. I am gonna come back on because I want to cover another topic regarding what Farrakhan said, but I want that to be a separate video. I don't want to mix all that stuff together. I want it to be a separate video. So I'm gonna end that and then show you guys this video with Farrakhan. People were saying this video is old, but he was trending. He was trending, and I see stuff from 7 hours ago with this video that I keep seeing. And so people are saying, yeah, just 1 hour ago. They saying that the video is old though. And so I don't know if that's true, but nonetheless, it's going viral now. So even if it is old, it is now going viral. And I don't see any recantment or whatnot. So I'm gonna do a little bit. I was trying to do a little bit of research just to make sure that this, trying to look to see when this came out. But I'm probably gonna spend like 10 more minutes doing some research, but and then I'm gonna just get back on here and talk about this because it's interesting. It's interesting. Then I was thinking about covering that TD Jakes, but not from a messy gossip type of thing. I want to really do an esoteric breakdown of that situation with TD Jakes and the they call him the power bottom and all that nonsense, because I'm thinking about it. I might hold that off to tomorrow, but I really want to look at it because we all know, how that stuff go, and I don't want to be one to just jump on something, because my thing is, if he's, what, I'll save that. Let me get off, keep my thoughts focused. I'm gonna get off and then I'm gonna come back on. Okay.